Greetings, fellow Rotarians and guests. My name is Joe Young, and it's my honor to serve as the 2020-2021 President of the Rotary Club of Columbus. Founded in 1915 with our first meeting in February of 1916, our club is one of the oldest and largest within Rotary International. Our membership includes a diverse set of leaders within business, city government, military affairs, healthcare, education, arts and culture, social services, and ministry, all sharing a common desire to improve our community and have a positive impact on the world around us. The world needs Rotary and the ideals that we represent now more than ever. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic has dramatically changed the way we live, work, and interact with one another. School-aged children that were already struggling with food insecurity and educational development are falling further behind. Recent acts of violence perpetrated against our African American brothers and sisters have further highlighted the fact that systemic racism continues to plague our nation. Political division and social unrest continue unabated. The world needs our leadership, and while these are extremely difficult challenges to overcome, Rotary is well positioned to be part of the solution. I long for the day when it will be safe for us to meet and fellowship again in person. Until then, please keep wearing your mask, please keep loving each other, and please keep serving others above yourselves. On behalf of my wife Vicki and our daughters Katie and Lynn, I want to thank you for all that you are doing to make our community a better place to live. It's my pleasure to serve alongside you. Now let's get to work. Greetings and welcome to the September 23rd meeting of the Rotary Club of Columbus. Our Pledge of Allegiance today is going to be brought to us by 5th graders at St. Luke's School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you guys for leading us in the pledge. Our club has a long tradition of honoring an active duty military soldier at Fort Benning each week. And with this week's introduction, I'd like to call on Pete Jones.
President Joe and fellow Rotarians, I'm Brigadier General Retired Peter Jones, President and COO of the National Infantry Museum Foundation. I have a great soldier here with us. I have Staff Sergeant Nathan Streeter from the 194th Armor Brigade here at Fort Benning, Georgia, and he is the brigade operations NCO. A 19 Delta, which means he's a cavalry scout by training. He served from a Bradley gunner to a scout section leader, and obviously has been a Master Raven trainer and operator. So while he's helping to train the next generation of cavalry scouts, he is from his hometown of Barnstable, Massachusetts, but guess what? He is not a Patriots fan, but he's a Chicago Bears fan, so we've had an interesting conversation about that. Besides serving here at Fort Benning and going through initial one-station unit training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, he has served out at Camp Casey, Korea, and at Fort Carson, Colorado, and he is an Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran from 2009 to 2010. Sergeant Streeter, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Columbus, I'd like to give you a couple things. First, glad I had a challenge going through your collection. And second, as we hopefully come out of COVID here in 2021, we'd like to give you a passport to the arts. So tickets to the River Center, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, the Columbus State University Theater, the Springer, and obviously here come back to the National Infantry Museum that also houses the National Gallery for Armored and Cavalry. So again, thank you for your service, and please give our best to the soldiers on Fort Benning. Thank you, sir. Pass it to you for any words.
Mr. President, thank you for recognizing me. Thank you for all you do for the community. Thank you for looking out for the soldiers on Fort Benning.
Staff Sergeant Streeter, on behalf of our almost 300 members, I want to again extend our gratitude to you for your service and sacrifice for our country. Please extend our gratitude to the men and women that serve alongside you. We hope to be able to host you in person at some future date, and we look forward to that day. So thanks again. It's always a great day in Rotary when we get to welcome a new member to our club, and it's my pleasure to call on Rotarian Bryce Maddock with that introduction for us.
It's my joy today to be able to introduce Carol Ridley as a new member of the Columbus Rotary Club. She is a vital part here at Teen Challenge and serves on our team as the Community Relations Director. And I just want to tell you a few things about Carol today. With her professional and accomplished career in management with an emphasis in servant leadership for 27 years at Synovus. She has a servant's heart for Teen Challenge, for her church and her community, and of course, especially for her family. She served in leadership roles with women and children at the North Highland Church since 1984, and her contributions to our community over the years are many, but I'm just going to tell you a few of them. She's been a mentor for the Servant Leadership Program at the Columbus State University, a member and a chairperson of the advisory board for the Muskogee County Regional Youth Detention Center, an advisory board for the Keep Columbus Beautiful, and also a former member of the Kiwanis Club of Columbus. She's a proud mother of 3 sons, 6 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren, all of whom are her pride and joy. And so it's an honor to be able to introduce Carol Ridley today.
Thank you, Bryce. And I'm very excited about being a member of the Columbus Rotary Club and serving our community on behalf of Teen Challenge. Thank you.
Carol, we want to again welcome you to our membership. Our club is club number 200 out of over 35,000 clubs worldwide. We were founded in 1915. Rotary International has a mission statement that reads that Rotary is full of people of action that unite to create lasting change in their communities and around the world. And I'm glad to have you with us as we tackle those challenges together. One of the ways that we can have a positive impact on the world around us is through gifts that we make to the Rotary Foundation. Those gifts are later redistributed to worthwhile causes in our community and around the world. It's my pleasure to call on past President Michael Silverstein to recognize some of our members that have recently reached milestones in their giving to the Rotary Foundation.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. To paraphrase President Joe's weekly introduction, which is so meaningful and poignant, we as Rotarians have a significant responsibility to not only improve our community, but impact the world around us. Our community and the world needs Rotary and the ideals we embrace and represent now more than ever before. The Rotary Foundation was created in 1970 by Rotary International's 6th president, Art C. Clump. And in 1957, Rotary established the Paul Harris Fellow to encourage and show appreciation for an individual Rotarian's contribution to the foundation. For our new members, in order to be recognized as a Paul Harris Fellow, requires a cumulative contribution of $1,000 to the foundation. And for each additional $1,000 that you contribute, you are then recognized as a Plus Paul Harris Fellow. In keeping with the ongoing commitment to the Rotary Foundation, it is my pleasure and honor to recognize our newest Plus Paul Harris Fellows, Bob Kidd for becoming a +1, and Ian Bond for becoming a +2 Paul Harris Fellow. On behalf of our entire membership, I congratulate you, and I want to express our deep appreciation for your commitment to the Rotary Foundation and your commitment to service above self. Thank you so much.
Bob and Ian, I want to thank you for your ongoing support of the Rotary Foundation. I'd also like to recognize past President Michael for his contributions and support of the foundation. He has recently attained the milestone of Paul Harris +4. So Michael, we appreciate that ongoing support of the foundation and also for your leadership within our club of this very important initiative. Our club acknowledges the deaths of 2 legal giants this past week. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a champion for social justice, particularly in the area of gender equality. As a father of 2 young daughters, I'm pleased that they will be able to grow up in a world where they can pursue whatever education and profession that they desire without limitations for their gender. I appreciate the work of Justice Ginsburg and others that have helped make that possible. Also, our club mourns the death of our friend and fellow Rotarian, retired Superior Court Judge Doug Pullen. Doug was a fixture on the Columbus Bar for over 40 years. Outside of Rotary, I knew Doug best through his service at First Baptist Church, where, among other things, Doug helped lead a youth fishing trip for teenage boys in our church for over 40 years and had a tremendous impact on their lives. He also was the chair of the Pastor Search Committee that brought past President Jimmy Elder to Columbus. So we all owe Doug a debt of gratitude, and may his memory be a blessing. College football is in full swing. We also have Rotary football in full swing. We encourage everyone to participate in that. If you don't follow college football, or you're just wondering, well, what is this? How do I get involved? I want to thank Gene Kemp and Haley Tillery for their leadership of this initiative. I would encourage you to reach out to them or the Rotary office to sign up. But essentially, every point scored by the team that you adopt this season would be worth $1 pledge to the Rotary Foundation. You can team up with another Rotarian, and between the two of you, I think it would be 60 cents each per team member when you're in a partnership. But encourage each of you guys to learn more about that and to get involved. It's a ton of fun, and this is the largest Rotary Foundation fundraiser that we do as a club throughout the year. Next Tuesday is our service project benefiting Hope Harbor. We're going to be meeting at the Trade Center parking garage at 5:30, where we will be boxing household goods to provide to Hope Harbor families that are being served through their program. In addition to the service project, we're going to be having a socially distanced ice cream social, and we hope that each of you will be able to join us for that. We're going to be hosting our District Governor, Kirk Driscoll, along with Rotarians from the Muskogee Rotary Club, the North Columbus Rotary Club, as well as our Rotaractors. So even if you can only come by for a little while, or if you can stay the whole time, we encourage you to drop by. That's going to be going on from 5:30 to 7 next Tuesday at the Trade Center parking garage. Today's program is going to be brought to us by Ian Bond. It's my pleasure to call on him now.
President Joe, fellow Rotarians, it is a great pleasure to introduce a very special program for the club today. In 1946, Will Watt of the Rotary Club of Thomasville and Kendall Wisinger of the Rotary Club of Atlanta established the Georgia Rotary Student Program, which is a program that brings young people from around the world for a year of study in a Georgia college or university to spend a year as part of a local Rotary club right here in Georgia, and then to go back out into the world inculcated with the values of servant leadership and service above self. In the last 69 years, the Rotary Club of Columbus has hosted 66 students. This year, we're not hosting a student. In fact, this is the first time in 74 years that GRSP has not been able to welcome international students to the state of Georgia. And it's because of the global pandemic. We had to close and cancel the class of 2020-2021. Normally, in September each year, we have a program from our current GRSP student. Well, we have a GRSP student this year. So this year, we're doing something exciting and different. Using Zoom technology, we are going to have 3 of our alumni that were sponsored by our club join us. So if ladies, if you would begin to switch on your microphones and videos and join me on the Zoom call. We have Rachel Eadie, who is Zooming in from Scotland. Rachel was our 2006-2007 student. We have Lida Kalustova, who is Zooming in from Russia. She was our 2014-15 student, and Siri Nordlander, who is Zooming to us from Sweden, and she was our 2017-2018 student. And we're excited to hear updates from each of these alumni as to what's happening in their lives right now, what they've been doing with their further studies and career since they left Columbus Rotary and GRSP, and to hear how GRSP and being part of the Rotary Club of Columbus and Columbus State University has made an impact on their life and career. So we're going to hear from each of them for a few minutes in turn with a personal update. And then at the end, then we'll turn it over to Cam Bean, and he will field your questions. So please put lots of great questions in for our alumni onto the Facebook feed, and Cam will collate the questions. If you have a question for an individual student, then just say this is a question for Lida or a question for Rachel or whatever, or if it's a general question, then Cam will collate them all. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Lida and Siri to drop back off the Zoom screen, and we're going to turn it over to Rachel Eadie from Scotland. Rachel.
Ian, thank you very much for thinking of me today, and President Joe, it's a pleasure to be with you and all you Rotarians this afternoon. Hello from Edinburgh. I've been thinking a little about the 13 years that have passed since I left Columbus. So I'll give you a quick recap really of what I've been up to. I left Columbus in 2007 and I began my undergrad in Spanish and Italian at the University of Glasgow. I'd already chosen to study Spanish before I came out to Georgia, but the time at CSU only reinforced my decision. I took classes in Spanish linguistics and phonetics there, and I became best friends really with my two Spanish-speaking GRSP roommates, Vanessa Calderon from the North Columbus Club and Mini Delgado from the Muskogee Club. What living with them really did, and what GRSP has done, is to bring the Spanish language to life for me and to make it feel relevant. As part of my degree at Glasgow, I taught English for a year abroad. And despite my mother's better judgment, I chose to spend that year in Colombia. The only reason she really felt okay about me going over there was knowing how many close GRSP friends I had made in Columbus who are Colombian, and that I could count on while I was over there. I'm going to share a couple of photos now. Bear with me. Here we go. So this first one is Jim Drake's visit in 2012 to my local club in Edinburgh. You can see me there, and just to the left of me is Vanessa Calderon, who by chance was staying with my family and me for a month at the same time as his visit. So that was a lovely time to host him at our local club, and I know he enjoyed himself. There's some other GRSP alumni in there too, I think. And just talking of these friends that I made and stayed with in Colombia, that's Valeria. She's from one of the clubs in Athens. And I spent some time with her when I first moved to Colombia, and she really welcomed me. You know, we still had that GRSP bond, and it felt like, you know, no time had passed at all. And that's Mini Delgado. When she came to visit me in Edinburgh, I think that's about 5 years ago. And again, you know, we hadn't seen each other for some time, but having lived together that Rotary year together, it felt like we were just catching up like old friends. It was really amazing. When I graduated in 2012, I moved to London to seek my fame and fortune. And I took a job as a Spanish translator. for a TV company. And I soon realised that I really enjoyed working in that industry, and I worked my way up, making documentaries for the BBC and Channel 4, and pitching for Netflix and Apple programme ideas. It was a fantastic time, and London was a wonderful experience. But I soon, well, 7 years later, decided that actually I'd probably had my fill of it. And I moved back to Edinburgh to be closer to my family and pursue a bit of a career change. Working freelance in TV is exciting, but quite draining. And I was looking for something a bit more fulfilling. I decided to go back to my original love, Spanish. And in August of this year, a couple of weeks ago, I began my teacher training here with a view to being a fully qualified teacher in 2022. It's definitely a little different in the current climate, with all of my university classes on Zoom, but all being well, I should begin my first placement at a high school here at the end of October, which I'm really looking forward to. I guess that brings us up to the present day, really. It's obviously been a hellish year for the world, and we're all struggling to adapt to the new normal. I don't know about any of you. In Scotland, we've just reintroduced restrictions again, with no one allowed in each other's homes, and there are limits now to 2 households mixing at once. I personally have taken the opportunity to get out and enjoy some of Scotland's beautiful mountains and beaches, which is some source of comfort. As we're such a small country, things feel slightly more controllable than across the UK as a whole. Just to give you some local insight, I guess the main thing that's taken a hit is our tourism industry. Although my dad is doing a good job of drinking up all the whiskey the tourists aren't drinking. We're really proud of the way Nicola Sturgeon, our First Minister, is handling the crisis with humanity and maturity. Boris Johnson, we're not so sure about. However, despite all the gloom, COVID has certainly been an opportunity for the GRSP class of 2006 and 7 to check in with each other. It certainly felt like the first truly global event that unified my generation, for sure. A few days after lockdown was announced here and in large parts of the world, we opened up our old Facebook page, dusted it off, and exchanged live news updates with friends from Berlin, Copenhagen, Montevideo, Bogota, all over the world. We shared news about the local restrictions, what was happening, how we were feeling. And while it's upsetting, knowing old friends were there for you and going through the same thing at the same time was extremely comforting. And it only highlighted what a privilege it was to be part of GRSP and what a legacy it leaves. So thank you very much.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. And we'll hear from you again in the Q&A time. So if you would drop off, and if Lida, if you would come on, and let's zoom across to Sochi in Russia. Lida.
Hi all. And so I'm so happy to be here to speak to you through this amazing technology. I remember the time when, you know, when you go onto the podium and it's not like you can distinguish anyone and you're shaking. So I don't know why, but I'm feeling the same right now. Like I'm speaking to a whole lot of people, but I guess I am. To fill you in on how my time went after I left Columbus. So I was kicked out in 2015. I came back home, but my plan was to go back. That was for sure. I knew I wanted to go back. So I started to apply to different universities in the States, and the plan was to go back for spring semester 2016. somehow that didn't work out, and at some point I found a really cool program that I wanted to participate as well, going to the States. But for that, I needed to be a student here in Russia. So to get that student status, I decided to apply to a university here. My choice was between languages and interpreting, well, teaching languages and interpreting. That was a very easy choice. I decided to major in teaching French and English, and never regretted that. That was an amazing journey. But at the last minute, I think a day or two before the deadline, I decided to drop out of the program and to graduate here. That's amazing to go to study to different countries, but I realized I need to get my bachelor's degree at some point. And right now I have only 2 semesters, this semester and next one left, before I get my degree. I'm very excited for that. So since I came back, I started tutoring kids, then teenagers, and as I went to the university, I started teaching more and more. I was really liking it. It was really good. So at some point I decided to go to work at a private school. I've spent there a year. Then I was invited to open another language school. So there I had a chance to work with adults, which I was excited for. That was a dream for some time. That was a lot of fun. Also, during that time, I had a chance to interpret. Actually, I had a chance, that was one of the first and biggest events. Last year in May, we had the district Rotary conference here in Sochi, and there were a couple guests, international guests, that I was asked to interpret, to translate. So there was a Rotarian from Denmark. Her name is Deli Levy Jensen, and she is part of John Maxwell team. She started the Bye Bye Polio campaign that she talked about a lot. And that was so interesting to get back to that Rotary spirit. There is also a Rotary International representative from the States, Steve Snyder. So I had a chance to translate him as well. And that was probably when I reconnected with Rotary. And last summer as well, I went with a friend to Armenia through Russia-Armenia ICC to organize a Russian language summer camp there. That was awesome. And then in November 2019, I was invited to the Rotary Club of Sochi as executive secretary. And till now, I'm working with them. And feels awesome to be back into that Rotary spirit. So for now, I don't know how it will go, because with the COVID, different restrictions, we don't have that many restrictions as probably you have. The schools are now open. My university was closed this week from Monday because there was so someone who had a positive test was found, so they closed it. But for 2 weeks now, they say, we'll see how it goes. But I honestly enjoyed the online studying. I realized it's perfect for me. I learned so many things during that time while I spent at home, because last semester was, of course, online as well. And for me, that's a great opportunity to do so many things. I said I still work as an executive secretary for the Rotary Club of Sochi, and this summer I was also invited to the District Rotary Youth Exchange Program Committee, and I wanted to be somewhat closer to the exchanges for quite a while, and I'm so happy I finally am there. Maybe one day we can even host a camp here in Sochi. The impact that GRSP had on my life was huge. It helped me. I think the most important thing, it showed me what Rotary really is, and I appreciate that a lot. And Rotary is dear to me a lot. I met so many people. I don't think I've ever met so many people in my life. I finally found out what I want to do, because it was during my GRSP year that some friends of mine told me, hey, we know what you should do. You should study languages, because if you remember, when I came, I was planning to study marketing or management or something like that. I don't even remember. My English improved as well, and I grew a lot during that year, and I'm very thankful for that.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much, Lida. And it's great to see how involved you are in all things Rotary. Okay, Lida, if you would drop off for a moment, and let's zoom over to Siri in Sweden.
Hi. It's getting a bit dark over here, so I've turned on all my lights. But hi all, and thank you so much for having me. It haven't been that long since I left Georgia, only 2 years, and 3 years since I arrived. I was your GRSP student back in 17, 18. But what have I been up to since I left Columbus? Well, back in August of 2018, I started studying at Uppsala University. So I've just started my 3rd year of studies, which means I will be halfway through them after Christmas this year, because I will be studying for 5 years, and I'm studying to get a master in socio-technical engineering. And I know you might not be that familiar with what socio-technical engineering is, but it's mostly focused on engineering courses within computer science. And so that basically means a lot of math and programming. And then 1/3 of my studies are focused on how technology affect and impact society. So for example, I do also take a couple of courses in economy, and right now I'm taking a class in the philosophy of science, and soon also the history of science. So it's quite wide, and you get a lot of, but you get a big perspective on things. So you understand both the technological part, but also how it affects and impacts society. Yeah, so that is what I'm studying right now. Apart from that, I've moved to Uppsala, which is about an hour from Stockholm, where my parents live, and where I also grew up. I live in a dorm, so it's not that different from when I was back at CSU. So I share kitchen with 4 other people. Yeah, so that's basically what I've done since I left. My plans for the future, well, I hope to do an exchange next year and go to France. I do not know if I will be able to do that, but I have my fingers crossed. And I'm not really sure what I want to work with in the future, but I feel that I'm getting a great like engineering base to stand on. So we'll see what it will lead to, but yeah, it's still open. The biggest impact GRSP and my year in Georgia has had on me is probably, well, definitely my field of studying, because I took my first computer science classes back at CSU, and I did really, really like them. So that was definitely one of the reasons for why I've chosen to continue down that path. But apart from that, all the friendships and yeah, like the GRSP bond that we got with each other was amazing. yeah, so I think that was the biggest impact in GRSP I've had in my life so far.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Siri. If Rachel and Lida, if you would rejoin the Zoom. It is so wonderful to welcome the three of you back to the Rotary Club of Columbus, which is your Rotary Club. I'm going to drop off in a moment, and Cam Bean is going to come on, and Cam will field the questions. So please keep feeding questions to Cam on the feed. Just from Siri, Lida, Rachel, just been some you again at Rotary.
All right, thank you, Ian and Siri, Lida, and Rachel. It's great to see you again. It's been a pretty long time, but it's great to see you all doing well and hear from you and hear how everything's going. Yeah, we have a few great questions. We'll start with what have you missed about Columbus specifically? What are some of the things that you've missed? Could be restaurant, food, arts venue. We can start with Rachel.
I'm definitely missing Columbus at this time of year. I think Georgia in the fall, in autumn is amazing. And walking around campus at this time of year was always absolutely beautiful. Scottish people are not built for that Georgia summer.
I don't know if Georgia people are built for it either, but we.
So I miss that a lot, definitely.
That's great. That's great. Siri.
Well, I must say I miss the weather because it was way warmer than we have over here right now. So I do miss the weather a lot. Yeah.
It's feeling pretty good today, yesterday, and so yeah, we're gonna soak it up. How about you, Lida?
I think I missed two things. The Wednesday meetings, it was a lot of fun for me to come to the Rotary Club meetings, and the Chattahoochee River. I loved sitting there by the river, studying, spending time.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. It's great for us to hear those perspectives, you know, because wherever we are, sometimes we can take things for granted, or we can kind of blends in.
Yeah.
But it's encouraging to help us to be appreciative, and so thank you for sharing those. Now, kind of the flip side of that question as a follow-up is, what would what would have made your time as a GRSP student better? What didn't you get to experience, that maybe you felt like you missed out on?
I would like to have owned a car. I couldn't drive at that point, but I had no idea that really people don't walk, I would walk to CSU every day from the dorms, and absolutely fine as a European. But I remember people stopping and saying, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm just walking.
But I guess for getting around, really, having a car might have made things a little bit easier.
Sure. Well, we're actually considering giving future GSRP students cars when they're here. So I'm joking with. Maybe someday. Who knows? How about you, Siri?
Well, now when you said it, I also think a car would have been nice. I did think about getting one in the beginning, but then I decided not to. So that might be something that I do regret. But otherwise, tough one. I don't know, really. No. It hasn't been that long, so I haven't, I haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, we really had so much provided for us. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, hey, that's great. How about you, Lida?
I think I would travel more. At that time, I didn't see it very necessary. I was feeling awesome in Columbus, but I think that would be a great idea to spend more time in other states to explore the culture and the places.
Yeah, that's great.
Even though we saw a lot of Georgia, through the weekends. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those are great, great responses. Here's another one. How has GRSP and Rotary prepared you to be a leader in today's sort of divided, pandemic-afflicted world?
It's a big question from you, Cameron.
A little heavier than the what did you miss about Columbus question.
I think for me, it's just I've really missed being thrown out there into a group of people that you don't know and just getting on with it, you know, being forced to grow your confidence and talk to people from all sorts of backgrounds. And, you know, Zoom is wonderful, but it doesn't feel the same as sitting down with people at a meeting or at any of our conclaves or anything. You know, that's definitely a challenge for sure.
Yeah. Siri?
It's a tough question, but I think, well, what was it? Like how GRSP have helped me become, handle the situation, or, yeah, well, basically, we've been in contact a lot, the GRSP students of my class. We've had a lot of contact, so just understanding how people are having it, how the situation is for everyone, and how it can be different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, getting an understanding how different countries are handling the situation.
Developing some empathy, you know. And,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that us three could run our countries better than who's doing that right now.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Hey, we have no doubt either. I'm with you there. You got my vote for sure. Lida, how about you?
Well, I think it helped me to become more confident. Well, whenever I do whatever happens, definitely I feel a lot more confident after my GRSP year than before. Of course, that many new people, meeting many new people, being there on the podium, speaking to 300 plus people, that definitely makes you feel more confident after that.
Certainly. Now, those are great. I mean, I think all of our club would love, loves hearing, having developed things like empathy, social and human connections and confidence. I mean, those are wonderful takeaways from a program like that. And that's encouraging, very encouraging. Thank you. I know that was a deeper, tougher question, but those are really great responses. All right, here, we're going to soften it up a little bit. Specifically food, all right? What was, what food do you miss in Columbus? Or what was your favorite food or least favorite food in Columbus or in Georgia?
I put on the freshman 15 thanks to an addiction to Hot Pockets.
Oh, that's good.
I like them a lot. Once I realized that you're not meant to eat them straight away. They're too hot. You have to wait.
Oh yeah, they need to cool down a little bit.
Yeah, that was good. That's
really good. Hot Pockets. What else?
What else did I like? Sausage, biscuits and gravy.
Oh yeah, okay.
Once I understood that biscuits are not cookies, because they're cookies for us. Biscuits, that word.
Yeah, that's an important distinction too.
And I liked the lowdown country broil. They're good.
Oh yeah.
So,
right. I'm getting hungry. I may have to here. So no, Siri, how about you?
Well, I did really like mac and cheese, and mac and cheese does not taste the same when you eat it here. So I would say I missed that because I cannot get it here.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Lida, how about you?
Well, probably not everyone will understand me, but scrambled dog and iced tea.
Scrambled dog. Marquette McKnight actually just posted in the comment feed, I wish I could post a photo of Lida eating a scrambled dog at Dinglewood.
Yeah, I remember that day very well.
Yeah, well, it's hard to forget a scrambled dog.
I don't think I've had a scrambled dog.
Oh, you missed a lot.
That's a reason to fly back.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, that really takes us to 1 o'clock. I think I hope I covered most of the questions here. Oh, Ian did have one more. Rachel, specifically, what age students will you be teaching, and will you have opportunities to promote GRSP to them?
He's always working. Always hustling. I will be teaching high school students, so 11 to 18. And yeah, I guess I'll be teaching, what is that, 11th and 12th graders. So sure, definitely.
Good deal. All right. Well, congratulations to all of you for everything that, all of your successes and everything that you have going on. I mean, we're so proud of you, and you know, you're part of our club, and we welcome you back anytime. President Joe, I'll turn it over to you. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies, this has been so much fun. I'm just over here chuckling about the fact that we're discussing scrambled dogs on 3 separate continents right now, which is fantastic. Definitely putting Columbus on the world stage there. And yeah, we don't have plans for a GRSP car, but maybe a GRSP bicycle or something. You know, we could pull that off.
We had that.
For transportation purposes. That's great. Well, again, we thank you for joining us. Our club has a tradition that we've started probably since Rachel was here. I think it was going on when Lida and Siri were here, but where we honor our speakers by donating a children's book to the Columbus Public Library in your honor. And so as you guys are working about, you know, teaching or, you know, other things, hopefully you'll have an opportunity to come back to Columbus at some point in the future. We would welcome an opportunity to host you, but we're happy to donate that children's book in your honor.
Thank you.
Today. I want to just, as we finish up, you know, broadcast, you guys just stay on, but just I want to tell our members that a couple of things. We have Thursday, tomorrow night, we have our online Rotary Mixed Fellowship, and many of you guys have been asking, you know, when can we get back to in-person meetings? And of course, your board has been closely monitoring developments within the healthcare system and the ongoing pandemic. But we do have now a tentative date. Certainly could still change, but October the 14th, Wednesday, October the 14th, we are planning to offer an in-person meeting for those of you that want it. Now, we don't want anybody to show up that's still uncomfortable or would rather continue to do it virtually, because we'll continue to do it in this format even after we return to offering an in-person lunch meeting. But for those of you that are wondering, if you want to circle it on your calendar, October the 14th, just know, just like any other calendar item that you would put nowadays, you might want to write it in pencil, because we'll confirm that later on, just depending on what developments transpire between now and then. Let's see. We'll also want to remind everybody, in addition to the online mix tomorrow, we'll see you Tuesday night, 5:30 at the Trade Center parking garage for our service project. So look forward to seeing you all there. And then as we separate, we want to continue to be good citizens of the world. You want to wear your masks. You want to continue to love your neighbors, serve others above yourselves. Let's get to work.